Dylan Bodeman, and here I'm with.
Mo Banks, head football coach.
Today I have 10 questions for my African American Studies class, and first question is, what is a die-in, and how do you think they may have been an impact during the Black Lives Matter protest?
What is a what?
A die-in, and it's okay if you don't know the answer. You can say skip.
Yeah, skip. I don't know.
Number 2? Do you know who Ruby Bridges is and her significance?
I've heard of Ruby Bridges. I don't know of her significance though.
Okay. What does NAACP stand for?
The National Coalition of African American. Another P.
That's good. You got like that.
What's the P stand for?
P is shoot. I'm gonna get back to that.
Interview isn't going so hot so far.
Number 4. What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
In the abolitionist movement?
Yeah.
I know he helped create, or at least work to create laws and bills to help in the movement.
Gotcha. Number 5. Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King.
Number 6. How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
Impact the world. Impact the world, I would say, just from the speech in general, and you saw, at the speech, the diversity in which I think Dr. King was trying to push for. And because of his life and him losing his life, I think the speech is more powerful and impactful because of everything that he sacrificed.
Number 8. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No.
Number 9. Do you know if women participated in slave rebellions?
In slave rebellions?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they participated in slave rebellions, like Harriet Tubman being obviously the most famous one I can think of.
Define double consciousness, and do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities, for example, like jobs?
Find double consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I'm thinking about it correctly, double consciousness is when you think of yourself from someone else's point of view,
Right.
to think of how somebody else is going to view you in terms of, I guess, when you're applying for a job. So.
Okay. That was the last one. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Good luck.
All right, so I'm here with
CJ Lee.
How old are you?
I was born in 1990, so how old am I? I'm 30 something, over
Yeah.
30.
And where are you from?
I was born in South Korea. It's a small city near Busan. Busan is metropolitan southern part of South Korea. It's
Okay.
called Changwon.
So would you say you know a lot about African history?
No, but I'm familiar with few African thinkers and philosophers. I mean, that's what I know about African culture and history in general.
Okay. What about, you know anything about African studies as a whole?
I'm familiar with the studies, so because when I was doing my grad school, there was program as such. However, I'm not sure whether, I think Gettysburg has program too here.
They do. And so I'm going to ask you some questions about African history. Let's see how you do.
Oh wow, okay.
Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
No,
No?
no.
Okay. Do you know what that NAACP stands for?
NW
NAACP.
NAACP? No.
No? Do you know who Frederick Douglass is?
Yes.
Do you know like what his role was?
I mean, my understanding is that he was part of anti-slavery movement in the United States. Right.
He's like one of the main thinkers, one of the main writers about it.
Right. And actually, there's a scholar I know who has recently written a book on Frederick Douglass and other thinkers. I think Walker, on this idea of how Afro-American thinkers try to reconceptualize American founding not as entirely racially unjust, but one that is open to changes and transformations to accommodate racial diversity. So I think his name is Marvin Rogers. I think he taught at UCLA and he's teaching at Brown right now. There's
Awesome.
a podcast there, but anyway, I
You know the name of the podcast?
No.
No.
I can send you the link if you want.
That'd be awesome.
Right.
Do you know who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King.
Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King?
Frederick Douglass. Does Malcolm X count?
Yeah, Malcolm X counts.
Okay. And W. Du Bois.
Yeah, I guess in a way.
And
Rosa Parks.
John Dewey.
John Dewey, yeah, he counts. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
Pardon?
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No.
No.
What is it?
Okay.
What is it?
Well, I can't give you the answers.
Okay.
I gotta write about it.
Okay.
Do you think women participated in slave rebellions?
Do I know?
Do you think women participated?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure about the details. But I mean, when it comes to first feminist movement, first wave and second wave feminist movement, I think there was, I'm not sure about details, but there was a possible correlation between anti-racial justice movement, civil rights movement and feminist movements. So I'm not sure about the detail, but there was the correlation.
Okay, so what's your name?
Jane.
What grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions. What is a die-in, and how do you think that may have been an impact during BLM protests?
A die-in?
Yeah.
I don't know what a die-in
A die-in is when, like, activists in, like, specifically in this question, the BLM group, like, lay on the ground, like, during a protest to, like, represent, like, the lives lost, like, you know, to, like...
And how that affected, like, the BLM movement?
Yeah, how do you, like, think that may have been, like, an impact during the protests?
I mean, I think that it, like, obviously showed, like, what they were fighting for and was, like, I don't know, like, it was able to help, like, on social media-wise.
Hey. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
I've heard the name, but I don't know the story.
Okay, that's fine. What does NAACP stand for?
National African American, CP?
Yeah, and 2A's CP.
NAACP. I do know this. National African American something program.
It's National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. But you're colored.
Yeah.
What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
He wrote some papers, I'm pretty sure, and he, like, hid people on the Underground Railroad. And he was, like, an activist. Like, he was, like, a speaker, I think.
Okay. Who gave the speech titled I Have a Dream?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay. How did that I Have a Dream speech impact the world today?
I think it really set, like, a precedent on, like, just kind of the movement in general, and was, like, kind of the first, like, really known, like, internationally recognized kind of speech about it, and kind of, like, paved the way for, like, what it is today.
Name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.
Harriet Tubman.
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Well, it's like main goal is to target like minority groups, so like it takes away their right to vote like legally, basically.
Oh, okay.
Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yes.
Define double consciousness.
Is that kind of like the double, the like behind the veil type thing?
Well, no, yeah, no, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, like you obviously like can't see, like there is obviously a double standard, but they're like, I mean, I personally can't see it, but like I don't live with, like I'm obviously not African American, so like I don't really see it, but like they do, so it's like hard for me to like understand it when like I don't see it myself.
Yeah. Do you feel as if African American people still use like their double consciousness to find better opportunities like jobs?
Like use it to like their advantage?
Like to their advantage, or do you think like it's a disadvantage?
I mean, I obviously think that they're at a disadvantage like in general, but I think that now like society is like working, at least trying to like work towards like being better about that, so I think that like they can use it to their advantage if they want.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you.
I'm Dylan Boderman, and I'm here with
John Klinger.
Anthony Camo.
And today I have 10 questions for my African American Studies class. The first question is, what is a die-in, and how do you think that may have been an impact during the Black Lives Matter protests? If it's okay if you don't know it, you can say skip.
What is it? What?
What is a die-in, and how do you think they may have been an impact during the Black Lives Matter protests? I don't know what it is.
I don't know either.
Okay. Number 2, do you know who Ruby Bridges is and her significance?
No.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who it is?
Third question. What does NAACP stand for?
Oh, I do. NAACP. It's like National African American. Colored people.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
National African American.
Yep. Number 4.
Yeah.
Somewhat. The first 3 letters I could have said, but
Number 4. What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
That was a smart guy.
He was a smart guy.
He invented something. Didn't he? No. I don't know.
All right. Number 5. Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther
Martin
King.
Luther King Jr.
There you go. There you go. How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
And shed awareness about like black struggles and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say it's spread awareness. It kind of, I feel like it kind of, speaks to today. Like he kind of showed his future of what he wants today, and I think that
What does he want
he
today?
kind of started that movement of wanting everybody to be liberated,
Kinda
or all the black people to be liberated.
Served as a guideline where the society should be going.
Okay.
Yes.
Like an outline of like, yeah, that's the steps we should do.
I got you. All right. Number 8. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
Underlying goal of voter ID requirement? I don't know.
All right. Next question. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yeah. Harry Tubman.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Last question. Define double consciousness, and do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities, for example, like jobs?
Is that like double consciousness? Is that like something like they have to think twice about like what they say or do because of their
Basically, they have
skin
to.
color?
Yes.
And what was
And do you feel as if African American people still use this
Yes.
to find better?
probably
Yes.
probably
I would say definitely.
just because I don't think everybody, especially in like the business world, I don't think everybody's like I don't know what the word is. I think everybody's not adjusted. I should say to society now. I think there's a lot of old people who lived in that time period where they know where they lived in that time period where they were still like
Right. No, I got
so,
you.
you know what I'm saying.
And I think it's just you get your whole life kind of consciously or subconsciously being aware that there is a difference, that you always like kind of think about that and you think twice about what you're going to say. It's just that like people are not judging you upon that.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
So I'm here with.
Conrad.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Where you
21.
from?
Actually, I just turned 21.
Where are you from?
Denmark.
Denmark. Okay. So do you know anything about Africana studies?
I have not taken a class or anything, as I say so.
Do you know anything about Africa? Do you know anything about Africana studies in general at all?
I mean, I know about a little bit of Africana history, but I don't know, like, academically. You know?
Okay, so let's find out what you know.
All right.
Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
Ruby Bridges? I do not know.
Okay. Do you know what the NAACP stands for?
Oh. Something with, I mean, I know it's about, like, some group for colored people.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Do you know who Frederick Douglass is?
He was like, he was a freed slave that helped, like, the movements of, was it like civil rights?
Yeah. Perfect answer.
All right.
Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Mm-hmm. Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.?
I mean, we have Rosa Parks.
Perfect.
I mean, if you, yeah.
That counts. Did women participate in the slave rebellions?
Yeah.
Do you have an example of one?
I mean, Rosa Parks, we have, what's her name? What's her name? I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever heard the term double consciousness?
Yeah. It's like when you're having two identities, like, between, like, where you come from and where you're actually, like, I could imagine Africans, they, like, have the nationality of being, like, kind of slave-ridden, but they also need to accept that they're here now.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's good. That's a good response. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Do you know what a die-in is?
A die-in?
Yeah.
How do you spell that first?
It's DIE-IN.
No, I have no idea.
Okay. So you don't know its role during the Black Lives Matter movement?
No.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Hello, so what's your name?
My name is Philip.
Okay, what grade are you?
I'm a junior in college.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. Do you know what a die-in is?
I do not know what a die-in is.
Okay, it's when, like, during, like, protests, people, like, lay on the ground, like, representing, like, a dead body, like, boss, like, George Floyd, like, people during the, like, BLM protest would, like, lay down to, like, represent, like, an activist lost.
Gotcha.
Okay, so how do you think that may have been an impact during, like, BLM protests, like, people, like, doing that?
Well, I feel like it definitely sends a message to the people that, you know, don't particularly protest against it. So I feel like it sends a strong message to those who are not only, like, activating for it, but, you know, I don't know.
Okay, do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
No, I don't.
She was, she was, like, a 4-year-old girl who was, like, one of the first, like, black children to be, like, integrated into a white school.
Okay.
So that's her significance. Do you know what NAACP stands for?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it stands for.
It stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement, if you know?
No idea.
Well, he was, like, just, like, an influential figure. He was, like, an ex-slave and just, like, used his education to, like, advance the movement. Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King.
Yes.
I got that one.
How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
Well, I feel like it's like the foundation for the BLM movement, and I feel like it just set a lot of the standard for Black people to have going forward, and how they should really stand up for what they believe in.
Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.?
Black.
Mm-hmm.
Rosa Parks.
Oh, okay. Perf. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No.
Well, like, this is, like, recently. Mostly in other states. At the polls, they're requiring, like, voter ID, like, to be able to vote, but like that targets like minority groups because like more often than that like some minority groups like Mexican, African American, like those minority groups, they like don't have access to like get an ID, so like them not being able to prove like identification at the polls, like so it's like taking away their right to vote, like quote unquote legally, which is
That's not good.
Yeah. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
In slave rebellions?
Mm-hmm.
Should I take a yes or no?
Yeah, just take a
Yes.
yes. Okay. Do you know what double consciousness is?
No.
It's like when an African American like identifies both with their like African roots and their like roots in America, so it's like they have like a double identity almost, and like or like in between like both groups, if you know what I mean. Do you feel as if African American people still use their double consciousness to find better opportunities like jobs?
I mean, I feel like they do. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to do, even if they do it. I mean, they have both those roots in them, so why not just, not necessarily take advantage of it, but just use it to their benefit.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
My name is Dylan, and today I have
Arthur
Stubbs, and today I have 10 questions. Questions about my African American Studies class. And are you ready? Here we go. First question. What is a die-in, and how do you think that may have been an impact during Black Lives Matter protests?
I don't know what a die-in is.
Skip? Okay.
Skip.
Number 2. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is and her significance?
Yeah, Ruby Bridges was the little girl that went to an all-white school. So I don't know much about her significance, but that was a big step at the time.
Oh, nice. Okay, number 3. What does NAACP stand for?
National Advancement. National Association Advancement for Colored People.
Wonderful. Number 4. What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
I know he had something to do with creating laws, but that's
okay. Number 5. Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King.
Number 6. How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
It was very inspiring to a lot of people, colored or not, but now that he's dead, it's just that we saw a lot of his visions come true, so it's a very inspiring speech.
Yeah. Number 7. Name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.
Malcolm X.
Nice. Number 8. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
I know that it's unfair in a way, but that's it.
Okay. Number 9. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
I'd assume so.
Okay.
At least helped.
Right. Number 10. Define double consciousness. Do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities? For example, like getting jobs.
I think double consciousness is kind of how being black in America, you have to kind of think of not only how you think of yourself, but how other people view you. So I think in the job force, it's definitely plays a huge role.
Wonderful. Well, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm here with
Wally Harvigsson.
How old are you?
I'm at 21.
Where are you from?
I'm from Malmo, Sweden.
Okay. So do you know what a die-in is?
Isn't it like a kind of like protest? I don't even know how to like describe it, but that's kind of where I've like.
Yeah, it's part of activism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like, how's your Africana studies? You know anything in general?
I mean, I've read about it and heard it in school and stuff, but like from back home, that's not a big topic, I would say.
Uh-huh.
We mostly focus on like the major events and like about our history more. But now that I've moved to the U.S., I've heard a little bit and studied like about the Black Panthers and activists and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I'm a professional at it, but
Okay,
I know a
so
little bit.
let's test your knowledge. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
I've heard the name, but I cannot tell you what it is.
Okay. Do you know what the NAACP stands for?
I don't.
Do you know what the NAACP is?
No.
No? Okay. Do you know who Frederick Douglass is?
I think I've heard. I have had an American government class, and I think that's one of the names. I think he got. He got like falsely imprisoned or something. Like, is that the person I'm talking about?
No, but kind
No?
of.
Oh, okay, because
he escaped from slavery.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm super away from that.
Okay. Do you know who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Yes, Martin Luther King.
Okay. Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King?
Malcolm X.
Yep. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say.
That's correct. Do you know anyone? Can you think of anyone? Top of your head?
No, I don't.
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No.
Nope.
No.
Do you know the term double consciousness?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Lola Balka.
What grade?
A sophomore.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions. What is a die-in, and how do you think that may have been an impact during the BLM protests?
I'm not sure what a die-in is.
Okay. It's when activists for the cause lay down and represent the people who died, like, for the cause, like during a protest or whatnot. So how do you think that may have been an impact during the BLM protests?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
Yes, I do.
What's her significance?
The first girl to go to, like, African American girl to go to all white school?
Yes. What does NAACP stand for?
I don't know.
Okay. It's the National Association Advancement for Colored People. Okay. What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
Was he was a slave and then freed himself? No.
It's
Okay, I don't know.
Well, like, yeah, but like,
I don't know what he did. I don't remember.
it's okay. Who gave a speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King Jr.
How did that "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
Well, it's like a big part of why we have no more segregation and such.
Name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.
Langston Hughes, is he one?
Sure, I'll get that to you.
Okay.
Sure. He's like part of it, the New
W.E.D. Du Bois.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No.
It's to like discriminatory against colored people and like minority groups. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
I think so, yes.
And can you define double consciousness?
Oh, that's like how we learned about this in political theory. I just don't remember about like how African American people kind of like have two, like, I don't know how to explain
Like identities.
Yeah.
That's I know you're like looking for the word. Do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities like jobs? Like they use their both of their like nationalities, like both of their like cultural like identifications.
To find a job, yeah, probably. I think.
Okay, thank you. That's all. What's your name?
My name is Elena.
What year?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions. What is a die-in? Or do you know what a die-in is?
No.
It's when, well, specific to BLM protests, when people like lay down and like, I guess like pretend to be dead to like signify like a life that was lost, like an activist, or like, you know what I mean, like George Floyd, like in like a George Floyd protest, like someone, like people would lay down like to represent like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, how do you think that may have been an impact during the BLM protests?
I think it kind of just made it more real, put emphasis on the fact that lives are being lost, and it kind of just made the protests mean a little more.
Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
Mm-hmm.
What's her significance?
She was the first black, like when she was a little kid, to go to a white school, right?
What does I keep doing that. What does NAACP stand for?
National African American. I don't know.
It's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Oh,
What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
Was he like a political leader or something?
Yeah,
like just moving things from higher up, maybe?
Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King Jr.
How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
Well, considering that that's a lot, like the "I Have a Dream" speech, I mean, out of all his speeches, it's super well known. So it kind of shows how much of an impact it had if it influenced as many people as it did.
Name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.
Like black activists?
Yeah, like not the abolitionist, or like activist.
Malcolm X.
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements? It's like specifically targeted towards like minority groups, so it impacts like African Americans, because it's like at the polls they're required to show like identification, and like most minority, well not most, like more often than not minority groups like don't have that. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yes.
And define double consciousness, if you know it.
Double consciousness? I don't know.
It's like African Americans, they identify with both like their African roots and like their like roots in America, so it's like their double identity. Do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities like jobs, like use both their identities?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What's your name?
James McCarran.
What year are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Got it.
What is a die-in, and how do you think that may have been an impact during the BLM protest?
A die-in is a form of protesting when people act like they're dead lying on the ground. And, sorry, what was the second part?
And how do you think that may have been an impact during the BLM protest?
I think it impacted the way people saw it, and maybe were convinced more by the explicit form of protesting.
Do you know who Ruby Bridges is and her significance?
Pretty sure she was the first black child or girl to be allowed to go to school with white children, I think.
What does NAACP stand for?
I believe it stands for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Who was Frederick Douglass? No. What? What was Frederick Douglass's role in the abolitionist movement?
To be honest, I'm not too sure, but I know he was one of the sole roles in the advancement during that time.
Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King Jr.
How did the "I Have a Dream" speech impact the world today?
Well, we talk about it every year. I mean, especially in like high school and elementary school, you learn about it from a young age. So, I mean, so I think that was a big impact, because now everyone knows who said that. Like, you could ask anybody, and I think that just helped with the advancement of equal rights for everybody, like women's rights and black people's rights, stuff like that.
Name one other activist besides Martin Luther King Jr.
Malcolm X.
Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
Discrimination.
Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yes.
And define double consciousness?
Double consciousness.
I was interrupting you after like a step-by-step.
I'm not sure what that is. I don't know. I don't have a definition for it.
Okay. Well, it's when Africans both identify with their heritage in America and in Africa. And do you feel as if African American people still use this to find better opportunities like jobs? Use like their double identity?
I don't think they do, but I think that the employer looks at that, even if they don't want them to.
Okay. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm Brett Lewis. I'm here with
Patrick McAuliffe.
Where are you from, Patrick McAuliffe?
I'm from Hamilton, New Jersey.
Okay, so let's get this interview started.
Let's go.
Do you know what a die-in is?
I do not know what a die-in is.
You do not know what a die-in is?
No, I don't.
You got no idea?
And what term is a die-in?
I'll give you a hint. It's used for protesting.
Do you have used for protesting? Die-in. Is it as like the people just pretend they're dying?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright.
That's a good guess.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you don't know the impact it had on the Black Lives Matter movement?
No, I'm not completely sure what how the dying affected the Black Lives Matter movement.
Okay. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
Yes, she was the first African American to be brought into the white schools, so it's a pretty significant
That's
part.
good. That's a good answer. Do you know what the NAACP stands for?
It is the National Association for Advancement of Colored People.
Perfect. That's awesome. That's
Boom.
awesome. Do you know who Frederick Douglass is?
I know who he is, but I'm not exactly sure what exactly he did.
So you don't know who he is?
Is he a writer?
Yeah, he is.
He was a writer. So was he like, he wrote about the troubles that slaves went through and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, because he was born into slavery.
Oh, and then he freed, didn't he free himself?
Yeah, he got freed.
He freed himself, yeah.
And he's like a very good narrative about it.
Okay, yeah. I know, I do, that does ring a bell now.
Next question. Who gave the speech titled I Have a Dream?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Awesome. How did the I Have a Dream speech impact the world today?
Very much so. I mean, it was like the biggest speech probably of all time, I would say. It advanced the rights of colored people, helped get a movement out to all people, not just through the African Americans, but to all different races, and pushed for the equality of everyone.
That's good. That's a good answer. Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King?
Malcolm X.
Perfect. Awesome answer. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
To make sure for equality for all. Kind of?
No. Did women participate in slave rebellions?
Yes, they did. Yeah, sure did. Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, perfect example. Yeah. Do you know the term double consciousness?
I've vaguely learned about it. Is it when it's basically like African Americans, where they say like where their ancestors from or where they're from, and then include it with where they currently are, like America and stuff like that.
You're on the right track.
On the right track,
but not quite there.
Yeah.
And that's it. All right, so I'm Brett Lewis. I'm here with
Judah Conaway.
Where you from?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Age?
20.
What is a die-in?
I do not know.
And you don't know its significance to the Black Lives Matter movement?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Do you know who Ruby Bridges is?
Yes, she was a civil rights activist.
Do you know anything about her significance?
Not off the top of my head. All I know is that she was an activist.
Okay.
Civil rights activist.
What does NAACP stand for?
National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Yep. Do you know who Frederick Douglass is?
Yes, I do.
Do you know like the role he played?
He bought himself out of slavery. I know that.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything else about him?
He was also an activist too, right?
Yeah, he wrote. He had several good narratives. Who gave the speech titled "I Have a Dream"?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Can you name one other activist besides Martin Luther King?
Does Rosa Parks count?
Rosa Parks does count. Do you know the underlying goal of voter ID requirements?
No, I do not.
Okay. Do you think women participated in slave rebellions?
100%.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of anyone?
Harriet Tubman.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the term double consciousness? Have you ever heard it?
I have heard of it, yeah. I have.
Can you define it?
I can't define it, but he'll know. I've heard of the movie.
Okay. And that's it.